So people will sit right and take the right decisions. We want to take politics
Sam,
back to the homes.
What you're saying, I have read it because I know you've said it on other portals. So,
okay.
Yes, this I know you've said. But how are you exposing me to the people? Because you say you're telling the people that, yes, you are sabotaging and the benefit. We've seen it happen all the time. We've seen example, the e-levy, where we saw that the parliament was split. There were issues where, one political party says no, others said yes. And yes, the others were defending it. They told everybody that we are defending it, we need it to be passed. Others said no, it shouldn't be passed. But at the end of the day, it got passed. And so you going to expose the person to the people doesn't mean that you're still going to get the votes in parliament.
The effect of the e-levy is going to be realized in these 2024 elections. And any parliamentarian that is untoward and allowed not listen to these constituents is going to face a penalty for it. So the response would not be immediate, but there's definitely going to be consequences for making wrong decisions or sabotaging policies that will change Ghanaians' lifestyle.
That's it?
That's it.
So you go to the people and you do the exposure?
Absolutely. We will tell them, look, this is what the policy is about. It's meant to change your lifestyle. It's meant to do this, provide 24-hour water for you.
Ghanaians will, because of that, you have Ghanaians or the people in parliament now approving on the change of constitution.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to be seen.
They are member of parliament?
Absolutely. Everybody wants to be seen to be responsible. The worst thing any parliamentarian would want to be seen as being irresponsible or acting because of political lines. So when you draw a line and make your conversation or your communication very clear to people, they would listen to, and the politician would feel exposed. That would put them in the right order. That is the kind of policies we're bringing here.
Sam, have you had interactions with Ghanaians and gotten to know what they really need in order to vote for you?
Absolutely. I have met Ghanaians across the nation. I have spoken extensively to people. The message out there is Ghanaians have lost hope. They've lost confidence in themselves. And basically, they are
lost confidence in themselves?
Well, because they feel, and it's natural and it's expected. If people have had so much hopes in a system that they thought were going to bring a relief to their situation, and over the years they haven't seen that, it's natural. They get dejected and they get upset and get worried and lose hope in the system. So it's a matter of now giving hope back to the people and telling them enough is enough. The problem is not the people, the problem is you, because you have over the years closed your eyes, put your vote on autopilot. Regardless of what you have gone through, experience as a person, you should go and vote for NDC MPP. So we are saying for now, let your vote count. It doesn't matter who you vote for. You need to start voting on competence, the ability of people to turn things around. Look at the programs. Look at exactly how these programs are going to be executed. Because that's another problem. People go and sing all sorts of beautiful songs without having any thought or asking questions. If we had really asked questions as electorates and made sure that certain things were clarified, I'm sure our voting processes would have been different. So this is a kind of hope we're taking back to our people. We're encouraging them a lot of, will we vote again? But we're saying, hey,
they should go out there to vote.
Go out there and vote.
But what do Ghanaians need right now? What do we need? What are they saying that if you bring on board, they'll vote for you?
Well, I mean, all Ghanaians are looking for is something or a system or a society that would cater for their basic needs.
And what are our basic needs?
Water, electricity, roads, food, transport, these are healthcare, education. These basic needs has to be affordable. Our country is not affordable. Ghana is one of the most expensive countries because of our systems. Today you go to the shop, it's 10 cedis. The next day you go, it's 100 cedis.
Do you think we pay too many taxes?
Well, I mean, the taxes is an issue. The taxes situation is an issue which we resolve because, again, we need to look critically as how things like e-levy and so forth has to be
I'm asking you this because you are an investment banker.
Absolutely.
And so you understand, these
I'm an economist.
Actually, yes. And so, when it comes to these things, you understand it even better than the ordinary Ghanaian.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm asking you if you think we are paying too many taxes.
We're paying too many taxes. And why are we paying too many taxes? We're in debt. We borrowed so much, and that needs to be paid. And as part of showing that we're capable of paying these loans, we show that we are taking taxes. And that is why e-levies and all of these things have been put in place. But There's a general phenomenon all over the world. When the taxes are low, people pay more. Look, businessmen are very creative and innovative in their ways. The fact that somebody can be an entrepreneur tells you that he's not just an ordinary person. He's a very extraordinary person. His innovation and his creativity and all other things. So when the taxes are high, they'll find ways to dodge it. That is why people sit down structuring different vehicles, companies in Switzerland, opening up a company in Holland that owns a company in Liberia that's set up in Ghana. All these mechanisms are done because the taxes are high. However, if you reduce the taxes like Lulu did in Brazil, you are going to get a lot more people coming in the tax net. People will pay without feeling it. So I don't understand why we keep increasing taxes. There has to be an efficient way of collecting taxes, which we don't have.
I'll definitely let you tell us about the efficient way and your policies that you've put in place. But for you at home, we want you to join the conversation, to send your messages to us. Our WhatsApp line is activated, 055-157-5757. Send your messages to us. Any question that you want to ask, please go ahead and ask him. Dr. Sam Ankrah is right here. Hopefully, he'll become Ghana's next president, right?
Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen to that.
Let's talk about, how we can take taxes that will not affect the ordinary man out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the informal sector that needs to be brought into the formal sector. I mean, look at our style of business. Most of them are informal. So there has to be proper, deliberate policies that would encourage the informal sector into the formal sector. And that is why I am so much against e-levy, because we're trying to get people to bring their monies into the bank. We're trying to get business people to use Momo, and that was very encouraging. And to bring e-levy to scare them away was more or less like blowing apart the same policy, financial inclusion policy that the government was promoting. So as much as possible, let's try to bring the informal sector to the formal sector and start taxing in a little way. Moreover, our tax systems are not efficient. For instance, let's look at exercise duties. We're still using band rolls on water bottles and alcohol and so forth as a way of showing taxes have been paid, or it can't work. You know very well that band rolls could not even solve the problem of copyright. How can it be a tool to use to raise taxes? It can't work. Everywhere in the world, they use encrypted codes. As the product goes through the production line, codes are hit on every bottle and can. When auditors go out there to the field and they use the auditing tool to touch the bottle, it reads the day it was manufactured, who manufactured it, when the taxes was paid. These are the things you do. We need to advance our system. We're talking about digitization, but we're still at zero.
But we are talking about the taxes, how we are bringing down taxes. It's not about,
what I'm saying is,
the bottling and everything.
So when you are collecting more taxes and you are getting the targets, it gives you the room to reduce taxes. It's happened in different parts of the world, like I mentioned, Brazil. When a lot more people are encouraged to pay taxes, the tax net is expanded, and you are receiving the money that you're supposed to receive, you have the luxury to reduce the tax burden on the people. This is what I'm trying to say here.
Okay. So let's look at certain taxes. You said that e-levy is one of the...
I mean, I'll scrap e-levy right away.
Right away?
Absolutely. Because, again, it's a nuisance tax, and it prevents a serious policy that an economy like ours needs, which is financial inclusion, bringing the informal sector to the formal sector.
What about the COVID-19 levy that we still pay when we go purchase goods in the market?
Well, I mean, those are stuff we can't control. We happen to be on a free bee during the COVID period, on a free spree, free water, free electricity.
So it's okay that we are paying that tax?
Well, I mean, at that point, we weren't told we're going to be paying taxes on it. We were told these are free, we're going to offer free stuff to us. But they sat back afterwards, looked at the debt burden, and they thought, let's put the responsibility on our people. These are things I'll say, they are hidden, approaches. A lot of money was given to us during the COVID-19 from different donors and different agencies and so forth. If that money has effectively gone down to the roots of what it was supposed to be, I don't think our economic situation would have been that harsh. Corruption, as you know, was rampant. I mean, at the highest point. A lot of these monies ended up in fat people's accounts and so forth and so on. And we are bearing the consequences by paying taxes for monies that were spent during that period. These are the things that I'm saying Ankrah's administration is going to fight rigorously, what do you call it?
You're going to fight corruption?
Corruption, absolutely.
How are you going to fight corruption?
Look, first of all, we have the preventive measures and also the consequences. Before I start talking about the preventive measures, let me talk about what is happening now.
Okay.
NDC and MPP have shown to Ghanaians that it's scratch my back, I scratch your back. Talking about corruption or tagging people with corrupt practices is just rhetoric. It doesn't get any punishment until people understand that they will bear consequences for what they do. They will not sit right, to be honest with you. And it's natural with human beings. We need to make corruption not interesting for people to get involved in. First of all, in Ghana, we don't even ask people how they make their money. Sources of money questions are not asked. Anybody with any sort of ways making money is worshipped and adored. In anywhere in the world, will you be asked? You have to provide taxes you paid on all those things that you are benefiting from. Do we have it in place? We would make sure that we push this to the latter. The laws are there. I mean, I won't say they are not inadequate. The laws are there. The structures are there. But enforcement is what needs to be done. And I'm promising Ghanaians that as some Ankrah administration would bring corruption to the lowest bottom. Give it opportunity.
So if somebody's corrupt, what happens to the person?
First of all, immediately somebody is reported of being corrupt, you step aside your responsibility. Investigation will be conducted immediately. And then if you're found culpable, my administration will make sure you are jailed. And you're not just jailed, you pay whatever money is involved plus interest.
Okay. With a jail term?
Absolutely.
What's the minimum jail term?
Well, it depends. I mean, you can't sit here and say, I'll jail you for 10 years, 15 years. It depends on the extent of money involved, the extent of the situation, and then the judges will make a decision on. But we would ensure, our administration would ensure that you are jailed for whatever thing you've done. You bear the consequences of your sins.
Okay.
These are things that we need to do. On the preventive measures, too, government size is huge. This encourages corruption.
Will you still keep the office of the special prosecutor if you are voted into power?
Well, I see, I kept saying it's not about building different bodies and building different bodies. The fact that it's still the same president appointing all these people still brings us back to square one. If we can decouple the Attorney General's work from the Minister of Justice, that gives room for such a body to handle all these things instead of continuously appointing and creating agencies and departments just for the same purposes. There's a lot of conflict of interest.
One thing the Ghanaians always look out for during, campaign is your policy that you're bringing on board. I don't know what policies you have that you're bringing on board, so tell us the policies that you're bringing on board.
Well, I think my policies is what has made me very popular in all this campaign because I'm bringing some radical policies that are bringing 360 degrees to how we do things. Total turnaround. Number one, we're saying we're going to run this country with 20 ministers.
20 ministers?
20 ministers. We'll make sure that DCEs, MCEs are elected. We're bringing governance into local communities. Number two, we want to cut the size of government and the waste. Because the
But with 20 ministers, you've cut down the size of...
Well, exactly. But then again, we're talking about the civil service, the government appointees, they load into the Jubilee houses and places. All of those will be cut drastically.
What percentage?
So, by 50%.
Okay.
So we can make sure that we save money. The monies that we save will go towards education, healthcare, and all of those. We want to, so that is going to happen.
Are you going to keep free SHS?
Free SHS will be reviewed. I have a strong policy on free SHS because I want Ghana to be the education hub for the entire region. I want people to bring their kids to school here just as Ghanaians are taking kids to England. Look, Ghanaian teachers are well sought after around the world. I lived in England. They love to have Ghanaian teachers. Even in Nigeria, when a Ghanaian teacher goes into a school, they get more admission. Why are we not taking advantage of this great asset? So we want to make Ghana education hub. By doing so, we have to lift the standard of our education. We have to overhaul our education facilities. We have to overhaul the curriculum. We have to create good infrastructure. Then we will build top-end community schools for free for people who can afford by means testing. By means testing means parents, money's coming together, cannot afford at a certain point, so we give free education to their kids, but not free education for all.
Oh, right. So you won't do for all?
No.
Why?
It has to be means tested. Why do you have to give to people that don't need it? You have to give to only those that need it. So we'll say fill a form, tell us how much income you've made over the last year. If you haven't met a certain threshold, government will pay for, and even that.
Do you have an idea of the threshold we are looking at?
Yeah, well, I mean, we would bring it out in the coming days. Doing so also brings the informal sector to the formal sector. It gives you the opportunity to know the taxes, to tax all these people that under normal circumstances would have been dodged.
So you apply for your child to be a part of free SHS. That's what it is.
Absolutely. The parents have to prove what income they are making, and their income is not sufficient before the government takes over the responsibility.
Is that not too much work?
Look, we have to do something to get something. We have to change the way of doing things. If Ghanaians want to see development in our lifestyle, if we want to see proper improvement in our living conditions, we've got to do things we haven't done before. We need to take these steps, and this is what Sam Ankrah is bringing to the table. Creativity, innovation at its best.
Are we reducing water tariffs and electricity tariffs as well?
Well, I mean, again, the system of collection is wrong. Few people are paying, so their rates keeps going high. Many people are getting it for free because you can easily go and tap illegally and so forth. Let's have efficient way of doing things. Number two, why are we monopolizing this? Demonopolize it. Bring different other companies to compete with them. Once there's competition, you get quality and what's called value for money. There's no competition, just Ghana Water, run by government. People take advantage. Bring the private sector in and let the private sector compete in there so people can choose whether they want to get their water from Ghana Water or they want to get it from Felli's water company. This is the economy we need to create. We need to create a local economy that speaks itself, creating economic models that speaks to our Ghanaian experience. We don't have anything at the moment. It rains and it comes to our bedroom. It's hot, sunshine is in our bedroom. An issue happens in Ukraine, we are in trouble. Issue happens in anywhere in the world, we are in trouble. Let's safeguard our economy. Let's create wealth in our economy. Let's create business people. And all these things that we're talking are opportunities that can create millionaires and billionaires in our country if the government takes its hands off it and give independent room for the private sector to drive the economy. Right.
Now, talking about that, one district, one dam was also one thing that was supposed to aid, reduce poverty in Ghana. Do you agree?
One district, one dam. The fact that you are building dams shows that you're a failed government.
Really?
Absolutely.
How?
Why would you want to build a dam in this 21st century? Everybody should have access to clean water. So if you're not...
But is dam not going to give you clean water?
Well, I mean, you are building dams and boreholes. The dams were more or less boreholes, technically. It's boreholes being built.
But it can be used for agriculture, right?
Well, if it's for agriculture purposes, then that's different. But these are drinking waters. I was going to tell you about issues I had in Damango area when I went there recently in my campaign trail. An old lady, after I was having group meetings, walked to me and said, "Hey, young man, you've made some very, very profound statements, and I'm touched. But I tend not to believe you, because throughout my life, politics hasn't done anything for me. I've lived here for years, as you can see how old I am. This pond there is where the elephants go and drink water from, the wildlife, everybody goes in there, and that's the same water we drink. And it's been that for time immemorial. What tells you that your style of politics will change these conditions? This is what Ghanaians are looking for. Politics needs to change the lifestyles of people. We can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
We are a lot in Ghana. Our population is high. And you said you're going to have, members of parliament in all constituencies?
Yes.
Hopefully?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed with that?
Yes, fingers crossed with that.
As an independent candidate, about 8 years ago, the Electoral Commission actually didn't permit some people who had filed to run as political parties or independent candidates to run on the ballot sheet. If that should happen, what will you do?
I don't think that would happen. The Electoral Commission, like any other agency, wants to bring the right candidates to the table for Ghanaians to vote for. The work they do is great, and they have to vet to make sure people are correct for it.
In case the unfortunate happens,
I mean, the history
will
of
you take them to court?
the history of the country, they haven't blocked any, and that's what I like about Ghana, to be honest. Our systems, to an extent, work as far as our electoral systems and democracy is concerned. So I don't want to preempt anybody to...
But we've seen it happen. We saw Papa Kwesi Ndum take the EC to court because he was, initially denied access, and then court granted him access to compete. seat
Well,
at that time.
let's not speculate about evil at the moment.
I'm not speculating about evil. You know, I'm staying positive, but, you know, as humans as we are, we ought to...
Look at the worst case scenario.
Good.
But whatever it is, come what may, Sam Ankrah is going to be on the ballot box 2024. Ghanaians, be assured.
As an independent candidate.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like the spirit. So our policies, we are running a 20-man ministers.
20-man ministers.
And then?
Cutting government size.
Cutting government size. That's still the 20-man
continuous fight against corruption.
Yes.
Mechanized farming. Education hub. Medical tourism.
Let's talk about medical tourism. Break it down.
Medical tourism. And again, fantastic country like Ghana. Look at our health service. You can't write home about. And everything is government ownership. Why don't government create an enabling environment for the private sector to take advantage? People are flying to England, to USA, now even to South Africa, just to take care of themselves. And Ghanaians are known to be naturally hospitable. And then we have great doctors. Our nurses and doctors are fleeing out of the country on a regular basis. And we're complaining about brain drain. It takes the private sector to drive the economy. Create an enabling environment. Make the conditions easier for the, the private sector to get in to build these top-end hospitals and let that take care of that sector, and government focus on the rural clinics and the rural hospitals that will take care of people who are deprived. But you can't do it all. Government is taking so much meat it can bite. So what we are saying is release the private sector by creating an enabling environment. Have you tried registering even a piece of land before in this country? Do you know what it goes through to get that piece of land registered? Sometimes it can take as much as 20 years.
Why do we always have to privatize things? Can't we as Ghanaians own our own and build it to that level? We saw Dr. Kwame Nkrumah do it. Why is it that we are privatizing everything? Because you keep on talking about privatization. Why can't we own ours?
We're in a digital era. We're in a new era. What's used to... Look,
we are in school. We go to school. Why can't we equip ourselves to be able to run our own?
We're in a capitalist society. We can't keep government providing such services. Government can lay the foundation and the frame for the private sector to drive on. That is what is ruling in the world at the moment, and Ghana cannot be an exception. What I'm saying is there has to be deliberate, hands-on policies. There are areas where government can protect. For instance, when it comes to assets of the nation, where government needs to protect wholly 100% for the country and make sure that we own, they go and take royalties. And when it comes to things like businesses that private sector can do to generate money and make profit for themselves, they want to take control of it. It can't work like that. I am saying, going forward, Ghana government will own 100% of all assets, every mineral, gold, oil, whatever, 100% wholly owned by the Ghana. And then, that is one. No raw materials leave the shore of our country. Worst case scenario, semi-processed. As to why we're sitting here, Felli, we go to the forest, deep forest, cut timber, load them heavy on the road, not even on train or on a ship, all the way, destroy roads we've invested millions and millions of dollars in, to the ports, send it abroad and import it back sometimes as high as 2,000%. I mean, come on. We need to build ourselves. So again, we will cut all these importation and basically ensure the serious...
You will cut importation or
exportation. Exportation. Okay. We'll cut this exportation so that we don't go import it back 3,000%.
Exportation gives us money, doesn't it?
Well,
the more we export, the more money we make.
Importation also gives us money.
Yes.
Exporting...
But importation actually costs us more than exporting.
What I'm saying is if you export, then that means you are giving room to import. But if you are producing locally, you block importing because you're not going to import.
So we produce locally and we manage it as a government or as a private sector?
It has to be private sector driven. These corporations out there that are asking you to ship your timbers to have to set local companies. We need to create local...
Why can we not set our own? Why can't it be that you, Sam Ankrah, as a president, decides to set up companies
for Ghana,
that will be owned by Ghanaians, that we will run it and make our revenue?
Government don't want to get involved, shouldn't get involved with the nitty-gritties of businesses. What the government should do in this scenario is create the enabling environment for local people like you, so that Felli, instead of me exporting my timber to, let's say, Turkey, I can bring into your factory in Adenta to get it processed as a Ghanaian. And then you can decide after the product is done whether to export the product or to sell it locally. But these are not responsibilities of government. What government does is create the administrative system so efficient government systems running, enabling environment for the private sector, private individuals like yourself to be able to engage in business activities and prosper in it. And that's the kind of system we're bringing into the country.
So are we going to give some sort of cushion with regards to financial cushion?
Well, it comes with a lot. I mean, at the moment,
start up these companies.
I just started. It comes with a lot. As a government, what do people need from you? It starts from the company registration. If it starts from the registration of their land and so forth. The banks will require collateral to lend you money. And if I have to take 20 years to get a title, that means I'm lost out. We need to shorten the system, efficient way of system. I don't need to go and pay a bribe to get my title. I need to sit at home today, send my document, 2 weeks, it's back in the post, it's done. Then you call the systems are working. The banks has to be capitalized. And again, government is competing with local companies in borrowing money. So the banks also now enjoy lending to government than to private sector. And the private sector is not getting money to do these sort of things. So these are the enabling environment I'm promoting, not slogans like 1D, 1F and all these things that does not bring anything to us. We need to take serious steps to bring serious change into our economy.
As an economist, the banks that were collapsed in the year 2017, 2018, will you revive them when you become the president of Ghana?
Well, we will look into that, but if you ask me whether that was the right thing they did, I'll say no. I mean, this is not the first time banks have had difficulties in anywhere part of the world. It's happened even in America. When that issue happens, they tear the banks. Tier 1 bank, Tier 2 banks, Tier 3 banks. That's how they come about. These banks were serving a clientele. These banks had livelihood depends on them because people were working there and they were getting paid. I know people, business people from Makola and elsewhere that can walk into UT Bank, just show an invoice of what they've brought in and they get a loan within 24 hours to do their business. You can't do that with StanChart. You can't do that with Stanbic Bank. So they were serving a niche, which was very good and helping the economy. By the way, banking is a huge factor, economic factor in any economy. You don't play, they're very sensitive, so you don't play with them. What they could have done is strike a line between the crime, supposed crime, and the business separately, so that the business can continue to function and they deal with the crime. But they didn't even attack anybody for doing anything, apart from just one person that we've heard has been jailed. Nobody else had been touched in the process. So clearly it was a failed project. With all the money they pumped in...
You think it was a politically done thing?
I mean, I don't like speculating. I don't like speculating on issues or things I don't...
You're an economist, and so...
No, but I'm saying, I've told you it was a wrong thing to do.
Wrong.
The motive behind, I can't speculate.
You can't speak about it.
Yeah.
But you've thought about it.
Pardon me?
You've thought about it.
Well, I mean, as to why anybody would do that, it's up to them. Because clearly, it's affected the economy. Several of these guys are walking out there years down the line with still no employment. Some of them have left the shores of the country. These were skills and talents that the country needs.
Why haven't you started a political party?
Because I don't believe in the political parties at this stage. What I'm telling Ghanaians is enough of party loyalties. Enough of we shouted on a political platform, so we deserve or we're entitled to. Ghana has to come together. Enough of the fights and divisions among us. Our country cannot be built behind political symbols and colors. We need to come together collectively, break down the system and rebuild based on continuous fights against corruption, the rule of law, stability in general, sound economic policies to provide an affordable economy for Ghana. And
you speak very well. You speak impeccable English. We've had, same platforms. We've had presidents who've spoken like that when they were not presidents, spoke good English, and they still speak very good English. Ghanaians bought into it, and some Ghanaians feel that it was the English they bought into. You are speaking so well. What shows that you're going to be different? It's because the English is good.
Two folds. First of all, not all politicians get into politics with motives. So the motive counts. So the mere fact that you want to pack everybody in a box is a wrong thing. We're all different, and you cannot squeeze lemon from an orange. So we're all different people in different ways of doing things. But like I said, There's a difference between wanting to do well and having the will to do well. Some of these guys really wanted to do well, but they don't have what it takes to do well. Because if you are carrying on with a system, I would never carry on as it is now to run this country. It won't work.
How will you do it?
Like I said, the systems need to be broken and rebuilt. I've taken you through a lot of the policies and processes that we want to take in place. And this is the only way you can get results. Look, there's no shortcuts to these things. There's a process that yields results. And if you're not willing to go through the process, don't talk about it. Our style of politics encourages short-term thinking. NDC want to come and chop quickly and go because there's another election and people come. So there's no sustainability, there's no continuity, there's no thought for the nation. This concept, this thinking has to change. That style of doing things is what I've just sat in here whole day today telling my fellow Ghanaians or my countrymen and women that this is not the way to go.
Okay.
Because they come in there, they've encumbered themselves, even opposition, borrowing money to sustain themselves as a party and as a group. They come to power, they would want to find the money and do short-term measures.
Do you have financiers supporting you?
Well, I don't have financiers because I can't be bought and I don't want to sell myself for anybody.
So you don't have anybody supporting you financially?
It's going to be the people's campaign. Ghanaians who...
You haven't answered yes or no.
No, I said no.
No. So
Yeah.
you don't have anybody supporting you financially?
At the moment, it's self-funding, but that's what I was going to answer you. But this campaign is going to be funded by Ghanaians. Ghanaians who believe in the vision, who understands that there has to be change in this country, and who are yearning for this change, would put money where their mouth is. Your 1 city, his 2 cities, his 3 cities,
So are we going to solicit for funds?
Absolutely. We'll set up crowdfunding, we'll set up all these things as we move along, so the Ghanaians it will be a people's government.
So how much money are we looking at Ghanaians contributing towards your campaign?
Well, if you are going around asking people to give you money, you obviously would not know the money, how much they will give you.
Okay.
But all I can assure Ghanaians is we're going to start our transparency and accountability, even from from campaigning point of view. We'll have a website in real time, money that goes in and money that comes out. People can sit there and go to our website and see today they receive 100 cedis, they've spent 200 cedis, this is what they use the money for, so that Ghanaians will understand and follow and believe, because transparency and accountability is what can get us where we have to go.
Okay, we have some comments coming in. We did urge you to send in your comments, and you have. Esiadua, what do we have?
Okay, so viewers have some very interesting comments to say in relation to the conversation that Roselyn, you're having with Dr. Sam Ankrah. So, before we get into that, so Roselyn and KMJ, so we have someone who has promised you, Roselyn,
my YSL perfume, yes. I don't know if Dr. Sam Ankrah is actually going to give me a YSL perfume for Christmas.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
Okay, so let's get into the comments for this particular conversation. Good morning. Please, I would like you to ask Dr. Ankrah of his plans for the Ghana National Fire Service, since all the presidential candidates do not talk about their plans for the service.
Great.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, next one. Dr. Sam Ankrah will be a fantastic president, but the problem is that Ghanaians don't vote for independent candidates. Ibrahim Baka from Gwolu. Okay, thank you for your message. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. I really like his policies and what he aims to do to the development of Ghana. But my issue is a lot of voters don't understand these policies because high level of illiteracy and brainwash of these NDC and NPP is much. How is he going to communicate these policies to my village people in Chiaboso? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Good morning to all viewers. I really like your policies, Dr. Ankrah. My question is, how are you going to solve the issue of people voting on tribal grounds? From Mr. Carver. You have so many messages coming in. Hello, good morning. I'm really enjoying the show because of the insights of Dr. Ankrah. Okay, because of the insight Dr. Ankrah is spewing. Everything he's saying on point, and trust me, that's going to change this country. I like where he said Ghanaians have lost hope in the system, which resulted in losing hope in themselves. I hope and pray when he's given the opportunity, he's going to deliver on all what he's saying, because I don't want to enjoy another Baumia Eskew way of getting Ghanaians to vote for him. Cruz from Kaswa. Let's take some more. I wish Ghanaians would give you a chance to rule the country. You're a man of integrity, vision, and courage. Wish today is the election day. I will vote for you. You have indeed made my day, my president. Okay. How's Ankrah going to get our debts paid?
Good one.
Okay, let's take some more. Hello, this is Calvin from Ablekuma. Honestly, he's sounding just like Nanado. Yet it's the council.
Comedy. Let me ask him this question. How do you intend to pay our debts? We are in debt.
Yes, and it starts from our policy. Like I'm saying, we're not going to give our resources to anybody and take royalties or even carried interest. We would take 100% ownership because the debts...
But if it was that easy, why are they not doing it?
Because, again, I don't like speculating, but for me, the only reason why that would not be done is because people are getting personal benefits. Let me give you an example. Norway, after the Second World War, they were a bunch of fishermen and farmers. They had nothing. Very poor country until they found oil. And they told the British and Americans who had technology and money at the time that you come, train and develop our people, we'll take control of our destiny, and then when we start selling the products, we'll pay you for your service. Years down the line, Norway don't just export the oil, they're exporting the technology. Everywhere in the world where you go, the experts in the field are all Norwegians. From Chevron, Shell, Eni, all these big corporations, ExxonMobil and so forth, the experts are Norwegians. It took a leader, a transformative leader, who saw beyond his time to create that for his nation. What stopped Ghana from going through the same process? UAE did the same thing. Saudi Arabia, the same thing. What stopped Ghana?
So you adopted their style.
Absolutely. Why didn't we do the same? Why are we taking royalties?
What do you do during your leisure time?
I play golf. I play golf. I read a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but if I want to exercise, I do walk around. I do have a little gym at home. I use a gym.
And you like to listen to music?
I like music, yes.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song? Well, there's a lot of favorites.
Okay, who is your favorite artist?
My favorite artist is Sarkodie. I love.
Okay.
I love
Which of
Sarkodie.
his songs do you love?
In fact, the song that caught my attention was Boga Boga Day.
That song. Why you were a bugger then,
At
right?
that time I was in England. You know, I remember going to work and hearing some people. I said, "Wow, this guy is really on point." It was deep, and that song really, and that's what I decided. I started following him.
Is he going to make a campaign song for you?
I haven't asked him, but I think I have to ask him because I'm a great fan of his, and I'm sure he knows. I like his music. He's very intelligent. His songs are quite deep. His recent song with Black Sheriff also,
Right.
Countryside.
Countryside.
I mean, I listen.
You love that one
I
too.
listen to that one 10 times a day. So yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I love.
Oh, that's nice.
I love it. So Sarkodie is my man. I like Shatawale. I like Stoneboy. I like.
Are you a Christian or a Muslim?
I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I'm a devoted Christian.
You go to church also
I go to
every
church.
Sunday?
Yeah.
What church?
I mean, I visit churches. I go to Action Center. I go to ICGC. I go to all these churches. But yeah.
All the churches?
No, I ship between, but my church actually is Ruach, is in London.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So you're a church boy.
Yeah, I'm a church boy, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Proper church boy.
That's nice. So in 2024...
But then I don't rub on people's faces, as you can see.
When you say that, what does it mean?
Well, you know, there are certain people that once people told they are lying all the time. I believe I believe the fellowship with God is a personal relationship between you and your God, and it's not about imposition.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Dr. Selma Ankrah, thank you so much for being here today. Now we know what you will do if we should vote you into power to become the president in the year 2024, 2025. Hopefully we'll swear you in 7th of January 2025.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the inauguration as well.
I was going to say, will you make me a part of your government?
Well, I want you to be part of my campaign. Are you coming? I'm inviting you. I mean, well, fellow countrymen, we've been on this road several times. We keep doing the same old thing, and we haven't seen any change in our circumstances. And that is what has brought our economic conditions to where we are, where we've been voting on party colors and symbols and tribes and ethnicity and so forth. Today, I'm humbly urging you to take a critical look at how we vote, have a deep reflection and thinking, and make sure that this time around, 2024, we will not make the same mistakes that has brought us to these hardships and economic conditions. Vote rightly, vote correctly, vote for Dr. Sam Ankrah so that we can move this country from where we are into prosperity. God bless you and have the best of the season.
Thank you so much for being here. What are we doing this Christmas?
Well, I want to just go and hide for a bit because next year is going to be very intensive.
Right.
There's going to be a serious campaign.
You have a strategy? Campaign strategy?
Absolutely. We have serious strategy and strategies on the table.
Okay.
We're going to march these guys boot for boot, leg for leg, arm for arm. For the first time in our history, an independent candidate is going to give these guys a race for their lives.
What percentage are you going to win?
Well, from the order, again, do I have to disclose this?
Yeah, just do it.
Really?
Percentage.
Well, from the first, all the technical work, feasibility we've done, the pooling and so forth, we can get about 37% for the first round.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, so we are going into a second round?
Yeah, there'll be a second. If we, yes, if we get a 37 in the second round, we have to now team up with the small parties to cross the line. Okay. But yeah, we will get there.
37%.
37%. Sam Ankrah is winning. So, but Ghanaians, you've listened to me today. If you want to take that to 50+1, please go ahead and do so. This country needs us change. We need it desperately.
His name is Dr. Sam Ankrah, and he is running as an independent candidate for 2024 elections. Who are you voting for? Is you vote on him? Well, we don't know, but definitely when you get there, your vote is your power. Thank you so much for being here. We'll end with your favorite song from Sarkodie.
Excellent.
Boga Boga.
Good.
Enjoy.